Suicide hotline phone in English and Japanese, and there might be one other language. Niagara Falls is one of these really mythical places, and one of the things they don't want you to think about is the number of suicides there. However, on the American side, these phones are everywhere, and it was just, and also I was there in March, so it was really desperate looking. And another reason why the falls fits into all of this is because the falls themselves are sort of a fake. Yes, they exist before people came there to look at them, but they're controlled by engineers, and they actually turn it down for the winter and then they turn it up. And this picture was actually taken on the day in the spring that they turn the falls back on. I mean, they're on all winter, but so I also love the idea that even this natural beauty, this natural treasure, national treasure as well, is not completely real. The Mystery Machine, another pop culture 80s reference. 4th of July. This was probably the very first picture, good picture, I took for the night series. This is 4th of July in 1999, right on the cusp of the century. And then this is the last picture. This is made in the same arcade that the cover image is made in, the Ferris wheel mural. So, is there time for questions? So if anybody has any questions, please ask.
Hi, so from a viewer's perspective, it seems like a lot of your pictures are very impersonal. I was just wondering if you formed, I guess, you said you were kind of obsessed with certain places that you went to, which is, natural, but I was wondering if you formed any other relationships, like more personal relationships with the places that you were going to, with the people that you met, with, the things that you photographed. Did they kind of mean more to you? Like, for example, you took pictures in strip clubs. People have different viewpoints on a strip club. So, to you, did your ideas or perspectives change on the places that you photographed after you left?
That's a good question. I don't like the idea of going into a place with preconceived notions, because then what do you really learn, or what do you really discover? But I guess I'd be lying if I said that I didn't have any preconceived idea, because I'm seeking out a certain place or type of place because I have an idea about what goes on there, or what the metaphorical sort of possibilities are. In the strip clubs, it was so much about something I was feeling at the time, which is distance, lack of intimacy, distance in a relationship. And I think that a lot of the places there is some sort of pre-existing personal relationship, whether it has to do with, my experiences with like a family member or boyfriend or whatever, going to bars, going to strip clubs, etc. But I was never a stripper, if that's what you're asking. But the places that started out personal, like my grandmother's house and the roller rink, they stayed personal. The only stuff that really stuck with me, Governor's Island was a project I did over maybe 7 months, where I went out there 2 or 3 times a week. So that place, although I never lived there, sort of became something I felt like was mine in some twisted way. And now that everybody can go out to Governor's Island in the summer, I haven't been back, because I don't want to see all these other people walking around. But I have no claim on the place, really. But I do think that they are impersonal to a degree, but I think it's because I have an ambivalence, and it's not that I don't care, it's that I love and hate. I have a push-pull with all of these places, and I think that shows. I think that comes out. Any other questions?
I have more a comment than a question.
Okay.
I've always loved about, thank you, that I've always loved about your work is
is precisely that tension, because there are sometimes images that I spend time with to get past the beauty and see that there is something dark there, because there generally is, or to get past the darkness and see a moment of light. And so having known your work for a long period of time, it's exciting to kind of see that and see that that's a continuous thread that I think has been there since the beginning.
Thanks. Oh, in the back, there's...
Thanks. I'm not really sure how to phrase the question, but so a lot of the photographs are of interiors and stuff like that, but there's certain photographs that are filmed outdoors where a certain event is taking place, like almost like a light sculpture in one of them where a beam is shooting out. So when you are in locations like that, are those kind of just found situations, or do you kind of lie in waiting for a certain event?
That's a great question, actually, because I like that you said lie in wait, because that is sort of what I'm doing, but I don't know exactly what I'm lying in wait for until it happens. And even when it happens, I don't know what the picture looks like. Like the fire, oh, it's not there anymore. The fireworks picture. I had no idea how that picture would look, but what I did know is that everyone else is pointing their cameras up at the sky. And so I said, oh, what's more interesting to me is the explosion on the ground in the middle of that racetrack. And there's like a Ryder or Penske truck there, which it was not that long after the Oklahoma City bombings when I took that picture. And just seeing an explosion next to this rental truck, which was very similar to what I think he used, that's what I was thinking about. And also earlier on, there's the picture of Vegas at night, and there's a spotlight coming out of the Luxor casino, and it's illuminating a little spot on a cloud. So of course I wanted to get a picture of Vegas, and I wanted to get a picture of that pyramid with the light shooting out, but I couldn't have planned that cloud at night was going to drift over the 4-minute exposure, drift into the spotlight, and then the whole picture is made by something that I didn't know I was looking for, but it happened. And like the fireworks picture is probably a 45 or 60 second exposure, so it's not something you actually see. You know, the explosion taking place, going up, and then the sparks trickling down is not something that ever exists at any given moment. It's sort of created in the photograph, but I don't know what I'm looking for, and I don't set things up. I might kick like a beer can or something to like put it kind of out of the frame or just in the frame, but I don't like to alter things, and I think part of it is that I don't have a great imagination, honestly. When I was a writer, I was a poet, and I could not write fiction because I couldn't make anything up. And I mean, even still, when people are like joking around and like making up words to songs, like I can't even make anything up, you know, which is kind of pathetic. But so that's why my way of working works for me. Is I'm looking. I don't know what I'm looking for until I see it. Anyone else?
Okay. Oh. In a few of your pictures, you have, like for example, at Coney Island, in like you're kind of exposing the not so fantastic sides of like the rides or something like that. So, in most of your work, would you say that you're not only showing places where people escape, but also like why they're not so great to escape to? I guess you'd say. I don't know if I'm trying to say.
Well. I mean, the things the structures that and items that I'm photographing aren't really seen at night or under the proper lighting the way that they look in my photographs. So it's not like as simple as I'm just trying to expose the fakery. That's there, definitely. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, I'll go back to that word failure, because that's so kind of ingrained in what I'm interested in photographically. You know, another Arbus quote is like, when you look at someone